All right. It's Jared here from Crypto Plan. How are you going on the Friday? We're going to take a look at XRP again. I have not put XRP on the channel for a long time. So we're going to have a look at this chart and why I think that decision time for XRP is very close to being upon us. Yeah. Okay. Before we get into it, please like the video, subscribe, do all that thing, share it with people that like a slightly alternative, no BS kind of approach to looking at the charts. And the reason why I put down XRP a long time ago is because, and if we zoom in here, is because of this junk here. So there was kind of the flare token, buy-in. Everyone thought it was going to the moon, and then there was going to be a natural sell-off after the flare drop, but then conveniently the SEC news came in and probably pushed it a little bit lower than it needed to go. But I think naturally, and if we zoom out and use this arc that is so beautifully playing out since the last bull run, is that we've gone through this bear market, kind of touched there in March, kind of following it all the way up, kind of got close there on that, that 22-cent long range, and naturally it kind of triggered it off. Now, it probably should have just come back and rested around that 30.5 cents, 31 cents, and kind of jumped its way up, and then maybe been sitting at, above 65 cents now, but it hasn't. It's kind of pulled back. So the reason why I think it's decision time is because there's two keys to this chart, right? So there's this long-term triangle, so if we're using the touch points of way back when in, the first alt season in March 2017, which is like 4 years ago, through to these kind of 2 points here, we've got that uptrend, so we're in a long-term uptrend for XRP. So, yes, you can say from 1st of January 18 through to March, yes, you could have lost a lot of money, but if you were holding this thing for 4 years, which is not that long for an investment, you are up a lot, so you've got a low, a higher low, and a higher low in that trend, but what we're also doing is a triangle. So we've got a ascending triangle that will be broken to the upside because we're running into a bull market for the cryptocurrencies in general. So if I didn't have this arc here, I would be saying, okay, there's a potential that this thing grinds its way all the way into the end of this triangle and pops on out of there, as late as, early 2022. Which is still possible. So I'm not going to rule that out. But the reason why I think we're probably going to test the upside of this downward resistance line very soon is because we're wedging our way into this corner here. So of the arc. So we've been following this arc. I'm not making the price action do that. I just put an arc on there and I get touches and I go touch there. There's a touch there, breakdown there because of SEC and flare and all of that kind of nonsense. Pulls back up, touch. So, close touch. So the downside potential for me right now, if it continues to follow this pattern, is very low. So if you were to enter right now into XRP, you've got an asymmetrical trade going on. And the likelihood is that the next touch of this arc, or this region, or it's grinding its way into the corner here of this triangle of this green downward trend line and the kind of uptrend of the arc, this thing's going to pop out of there. And it's probably going to test $2, $2.50 for mine, but probably the edge of that arc there. It's probably going to test the edge of that arc, just over $2. So it'll pop on out of there, it might come back and touch the edge of the arc at some point, and then, that will probably be into bull season, heading up to our $10 to $13 target. So that is XRP, and I am going to show you a bunch of other charts now that have completed this arc and are now in their price discovery. So if we go through to Ethereum, we don't have the arc drawn there, but you can see there's an arc, touch, followed it up. Probably went a little bit higher above its arc. It's pulled back to the edge of the arc to its, all-time high from the previous, and then it'll fire on out of there. So Ethereum has done it. Got Peercoin here. Peercoin is doing it. So it's following down, there's an arc, and then it'll follow. And I've used kind of more of a parabolic arc because there's a lot more kind of difference between the highs and the lows on this one. But once again, it'll bounce away, it's long, and it will kind of make its way out of there. EOS, same deal. If you were to draw an arc, it's in the same position as XRP. It's kind of, the arc wants to come out here, and it's ready to kind of break on out of there. ZRX, arc, kind of touched there and then flew on out of there. So this could play out and want to touch it could play out there till April or May, and then kind of get close to the edge of the arc there and then fire on out. Dash, same deal again. A big arc's kind of formed out. Coming, touch, pops out of there, goes sideways for a bit. Could lose a bit of energy there, come back to these 156s, the tops of these peaks there, and then firing out of there, So this is the way these things seem to roll out. They all kind of have the same, the same bear market because of Bitcoin, basically this 4-year bear market. Game. I did a different thing for game because I've done this circle thing, but it's the same thing. There's an arc, and it just kind of says that maybe it'll reach this height at some point, which is its all-time high, and then maybe the top prediction there might be somewhere up there. I doubt it, but that's an interesting thing, that anywhere from here to that other side of the circle or the oval could be price discovery. So that would be interesting if any of that happens. So I'm just kind of putting a test little oval out there. It's a new kind of pattern recognition. Reef is not going to do it because we haven't had the graph. Cardano. So yeah, Cardano has done it. So Cardano is just ran up to its all-time high, or just above its all-time high, and it's just doing its handle right now. So big arc and handle, so nearly, if you're watching any videos of like, Cardano to this and Cardano to that, it's like, if you're a chart reader, you're going to know that somewhere just after the all-time high, because most cryptocurrencies do it, or most markets do this, they reach their all-time high or breach it by a little bit, and then they pull back and make this handle. So there's every chance that Cardano is going to come back, a third, or, it could even come back and test this 36 cents if it wanted to in its handle, and then firing out of there, So just be aware of this when you're buying things at or near all-time highs on these pullbacks, because, especially on the weekly here, you can see there's been 2 red weeks in Cardano. Even though day to day you might see some green days and red days, this thing could tap its way back to 78 cents there, quite easily, or its next resistance level on the weekly. So just be careful. Zilliqa, same deal again. We're probably in that, pull back and make a handle thing, So we've come around in an arc, and we could potentially pull back or go sideways for a while before we fire it out there and make those moon time discoveries. Stellar, that's another one that's definitely kind of done it. Big arc, kind of flew on out of there. It's gone super parabolic on the out. But once again, at its all-time high. And what has it done? It's made a handle, so cup and a handle, so no one's talking about Stellar at the moment because it made its move, it made its move from 8 cents. I kind of jumped in somewhere around that 9 cents, bang, got all this run up here up to 30 odd cents, and I cashed out. I was like, that's my play. That was my lucky coin. And some people could say I'm stupid, and yeah, maybe I kicked myself for, I could have extracted out that 50 cents from it, but at the end of the day, what's it done for the last 4 weeks? So that money that I took out of it, I've invested in other things which have also been growing, so that's fine by me. Litecoin looks probably more like Bitcoin's chart, but once again, it's out there close to its all-time high, and now just going a little bit sideways. So we're we're seeing some patterns there, and I guess drawing it back to Bitcoin, and the fact that drawing it back to XRP. If we just jump back onto that XRP chart, if anyone tells you it's broken, if anyone says it's not going to play out in the next bull run, I think that they're pulling your leg, because everything is pointing towards this thing breaking out to the upside, because even if you did some more kind of shorter term lines, you've got this resistance line there and you've got that one there, so you've got a small couple of weeks of decision making time, right? So yeah, okay, there is always a potential that it could go to the downside, but knowing the environment, knowing the macroeconomics of the environment, of everything's in a crypto run, why in particular would XRP, which is the most liquid coin, which is used around the world, it's been around in several alt seasons, why would that this time decide not to? And if you look down here at the stock RSI, it's just made a turn, it's coming up, it's kind of going to dip, and then so it's a higher low on the stock. So if that turns around on the weekly, it's heading on up there to be more bullish. On the RSI, you've got a clear indication that this thing is in an uptrend. So the strength from here on the weekly, it's in an uptrend. Yeah, it kind of jumped up there, but it kind of touched back along. But you can see that this is going to follow this line, and the volume is there. So we had an increase in volume there, kind of had that flat period. Yes, there's some large red candles, but in general, this area here has had much higher volume than this area here. So that says to me that after volume follows price action, right? So yes, there was some big price action to the upside, then to the downside, then to the upside. But because we're now been in this consolidation for 1, 2, 3 weeks, of this kind of, and I guess if we go back to daily to just have a look at that a bit more clearly, we've kind of got the peak, the crash, and then the consolidation, so the accumulation zone. And there is not much to go. What is there? 14th of March to 10th of April, so there's about a month there before it has to make the decision. Does it want to break this uptrend line, this support line, or does it want to push through to this resistance line, and it's tried once there, it's tried again once there, it's tried there, it's tried there, and it's tried there. So when you've got a sledgehammer and you're smacking on the glass or smacking on the ice and you keep going, eventually you break the glass, you break the ice, right? Whereas it's not smacking on a level, it's not wicking down to levels down here, that might be scary, yeah, there's the odd wick here, but those things get sucked up very quickly, whereas these wicks here are huge, that's bullish, bullish, bullish. So I'm saying that within the next month, I'll eat my words if XRP hasn't at least tested this $2 mark. So that's my prediction for XRP. I probably think it could even go 250 or higher on a wick, on the weekly or the daily. But yeah, definitely going to be testing somewhere around the 2, pulling back somewhere around the 65, 70 cents, or maybe this resistance level, 77 cents, because that's the area that it's failing to break, and then let's see it fly out of there. So that's XRP for me, and that is a little bit of a, having a look at arcs or cup and handles, or, I guess the 4-year bear market and where some coins are as opposed to others, and that maybe, and like from my other video is like, you can go and smash money into things that have already completed this cup and then are doing the handle, and that's nothing wrong with that. I think getting it at the end of the handle or on the reversal of the handle is a good entry point again, for any, something in the market. It's kind of a safe entry point, but also getting these things that are only halfway through their cups and their handles, you've probably got a lot more percentage upside, albeit there is still some downside volatility, but probably a lot more asymmetrical trades, something like XRP, EOS, Dash, all these kind of ones, because they are only halfway through their way back to their retracement to their all-time highs. So that's that, and I'm going to leave you all there and hope you have a great weekend. And yeah, I just probably want to touch base on one. For those, I know a lot of people that have been following me love one, and I once again have seen another little mini handle play out here and on that daily chart. So we were watching this, and I called it. It kind of broke through its all-time high, but it wicked back down, and then it had to kind of do another little mini handle, and then just the last day or two, it's kind of fired on out of there. So it'd be very interesting to see the price discovery of a coin like Harmony. I think I've got this target of 16 cents up there. Like I kind of pulled this fractal of the last breakout here and kind of placed it on here, and yeah, so 16 cents is my shorter to medium term target for Harmony 1 over Tether. So we could get there, and that would be lovely. And another one, if you're in Reef, and I know there's like a divided community out there. I'm seeing some, kind of more prominent crypto channels out there saying they've sold their Reef because of XYZ fundamental, don't like the team reasons or whatever. But, once again, it had a run. It's in a cup accumulation. It's got to get up to this all-time high again. It might handle back, and then it's going to fire it out of there, So I've always said all the way along that anywhere from, in this kind of, 30 to 39 cent range, the 3 to 3.9 cent range is a great accumulation zone. So you had time here, you've had some dips there you could grab. Right now it's probably not a buy time for me, but if it kind of taps up here and pulls back again, maybe I'll add one more little bag, but we'll see. I had accumulated a lot of Reef through here while it was going sideways, and the last one, I'm just think the more I see this play out, the more I think when it does go to the upside, it's going to be a huge pop, because once again, this cake had the $14 mark as like a clear resistance on the daily, and then it kind of pulls back and it touches the 10, 20, comes back up again, breaks through the 13, and I'm like, yay, it's going to go to the upside. So then I had to reshift my triangle because it went back down again. So it's scaring us right now, and it's out of there. So it's looking bearish. But I think what's going to happen, I guess if we kind of tweak that triangle again, I know, because you've got to be able to be flexible with these things. But if we tweak that again and just say, that's more what we're looking at. Now we're grinding right the way into this point of the triangle, and looking at towards mid-March, end of March, that there's going to be an explosive move in cake. Now, this thing has, compared to Uniswap, which is a decentralized exchange as well, this thing's market cap is like 1/20th or something like that. So it has a lot more price. A lot less money has to fly into cake for its price to go up a lot, and its market cap. So I think it's only, I can't remember. Look it up on CoinMarketCap yourself. But you look at it compared to Uniswap, which is its kind of direct competitor. And Uniswap, for Uniswap to double, it would have to, a lot of money would have to flow in there. Whereas for this thing to 10x or 20x, not much money would have to fly in. So cake, I am holding my small little bag, and probably potentially just going to ride that first big pop, because it may just happen with alt season and take a bit of it out and smash it down to anything that's laggard, like XRP or Dash or something like that, just to maximize that gain. Or, maybe just let it ride. I don't know. See what happens. But I'm definitely looking for, somewhere up in the 50 range on the next kind of move, so a good 5x at least on the, when it breaks out and fires to the upside. So it'd be good to see see when Cake makes that decision to go up, up, up and away. And last one I'm just going to put in, because there was a bit of comments in the, about my video of Theta, I think people clicked on it expecting, some huge price prediction. Once again, $12 is my next price prediction. It's not my all-time high price prediction, but you've got to remember, once again, for it to double from here, it has to double its market cap. And its market cap is already in the top 20. So it's not very easy for something that's in the top 20 to double its market cap that quickly. If we're not in an alt season, and you will see things like this probably take pullbacks. You're probably going to see 390 offered again in Theta before it goes parabolic, right? So there is every chance that this thing does pull back to there, or it just goes sideways from here and then kind of grinds its way up to that 12, right? So there's nothing wrong with investing in it, but if you're buying $100 worth of Theta right now and it goes up to $12, you're doubling your money. If you buy $100 worth of Cake or $100 worth of anything that's down in the, I haven't broken out mode yet, you could potentially turn that 100 into 500 or 1,000. So just be aware of that. I'm not bagging on Theta. I do agree that Samsung and Google and all those players are playing in it, but that would be more of a reason to be invested in the early stage of the business of Theta, actually owning shares in Theta as an investor, not necessarily buying the Theta token right now, because the Theta token is very, very extended from its lows, 146 x times. 146x times, and I've even got to put that up now. It is now 230x times where it was in March. So that is probably the leader of the pack. It's probably made one of the biggest moves of the coins that are now in the top 20. So just be aware that you got to take things with a grain of salt. And I'm trying to give people advice to buy things on breakouts, so you get the most percentage gain. And I'm also trying to help people buy things at the right time. And I don't think this is the right time to buy Theta. These were the right times to buy Theta, 80 to, 55 to 80 cents, big accumulation zone, accumulate there. And then, okay, add a little bit more here, even add a little bit more on this dip, but not right now. This thing's firing. If you've got some, hold it. Yeah, I do regret selling all mine as quick as I did, but I thought we were going into an alt season a little bit quicker than I thought we were. And you win some, you lose some, but at the end of the day, the money that I took out of this is in Cake and Reef and One and Game, which haven't popped off yet. So I'm just holding, waiting. I'm not getting sucked into chasing anything that's going, to the moon already, because I could buy here and then the thing comes back to here, and then I should have just waited and bought it here. You know what I mean? So, or it goes up forever, but still, even if it goes up forever, I'm still not as great off as these ones that may pop 5, 10, 15, 20x, so I can't see Theta going another 10 or 20x from here. What would that put it, 600? I don't know. I don't think that's actually going to happen. But anyway, I'll leave that on that note. Nothing wrong with Theta token. I want to own Theta token. I want to buy a Theta token after this bull market. I want to work on Theta token, accumulating the dips on that during the bear market. I am super bullish on Theta token as a project. I just don't want to buy into it now, and I don't want to advise people to buy into it now because it's made its moves. That's that. Like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.